So we're at the after action report of our game of Adeptus Titanicus. This is our second time playing Adeptus Titanicus. Our first time we did a whole bunch of substitutes for models. It was back before they came out with the rest of
With the Reavers and
the Reavers and the Warhounds.
and whatnot.
I definitely like playing with more of the models that actually are here. So what do you think of the matched play? We played matched play both times that we did it.
I think just like in regular Warhammer, it depends on the missions you get. Like at the beginning, you're allowed to choose two different missions. I had two different choices. One mission was I had to rescue a group of survivors from a war, some sort of Titan that survived, and if I got to them, I had to be within 1 inch of them, and then I had to get all the way back to my side of the field. And if I at least got within, I think, 10 inches of my side, it would have got me, I think, 10 victory points. And if I had taken my my Titan with the squad of survivors off the map, that would have gotten me 20 victory points. But the squad I chose before we even knew our missions didn't consist of fast-moving Titans. I had 2 Warlords and 1 Reaver. I might have been able to place my units better and use the Reaver to pick up that squadron, but...
So he's talking about the retrieval mission. If you have the book on page 85, the thing that I don't particularly like about matched play, as it stands right now, is the mission objectives are not balanced really well. I find that one side can have just an outright advantage depending on the way that you do it. We played today with the Myrmidon battle line maniple and the Venator light maniple. And even though I had less armored Titans, I could keep him out of my deployment zone, basically keep him away from his objective that I placed according to the rules. And just with the Warlord Titans being so slow and everything being so expensive.
And then he immediately tied up my Reaver Titan to where I couldn't move, and there just wasn't enough room to maneuver the Titan to get straight line of shot towards the center of the map.
Yeah. And I think some of these challenges with this particular matched play are going to be solved in the new book that just came out. I can't remember the name of it. It released just this last weekend. It's going to have more maniples and different Legion-specific rules, and I think that'll address some of the imbalances. But just with the limited stuff that's in this original rulebook, I think sometimes it can be hard to get to the objectives. That being said, I think it's fun just shooting the heck out of each other.
Not doing anything half the time.
Yeah, the first 2.5 turns, it was just void shields down, void shields up, void shields down a little bit, void shields back up. And I think that's good and bad. It's going to be good for those people that don't want to be tabled turn 1, but also it can seem like you're doing a whole lot and getting nowhere. But then as you saw, where it started happening more, where we started recording more of the action, after you whittle things down, it can build up very quickly. What was that? That was the end of turn 3.
Yeah.
We had to throw in the towel.
And unfortunately, it was just a matter of dice rolls. He kept just landing that. It's a 6-sided die, and there's only 2 spots for body, and he just kept landing those body shots, and he just whittled the body down. And my legs and my head were all the way at the top. So if he would have hit the legs or head, that Titan would have probably lasted at least 1 more turn. I could have used my negative victory point stratagem and maybe won, but he just kept getting those lucky dice rolls and kept hitting my body instead of my head or legs.
And I think that's what makes it exciting. Like, you can do a whole lot of nothing, and then all of a sudden you're getting lucky with those dice, making the correct shots with the correct weapons, and you just pummel another Titan. And then, of course, you risk it falling and damaging your own stuff and ruining your trick stratagems. Let's talk about that real quick. What do you think about some of the stratagems? I don't even remember seeing that one. That one's dirty. That one's a dirty trick that could have theoretically won you this game. I think these stratagems have the ability to take an imbalanced match and potentially turn it the other way around.
Yeah. So there was one stratagem you didn't see me use, but I was using every turn. It was called artillery bombardment.
Yeah, we kind of cut that out, but
didn't do much. I first turn it willed down a few void shields, but I wouldn't know if this would be worth it in the end because you get a 5-inch. I'll read it off to you. Play this during each strategy phase. Place the 5-inch blast marker anywhere on the battlefield, then scatter it d10 inches. Any unit touched by the marker, where it eventually lands, suffers a Strength 8 hit, or 2 Strength 8 hits if the central hole of the blast marker is entirely over its base. I suppose it's okay for whittling down a bunch of people's void shields, but in the end, it really didn't help me that much.
I think you would have been, for a 2-point tactic, I think you would have been much better off with the void shield battlefield asset. You could have put it at the corner of your deployment zone where your remaining Warlord Titan is now, and still benefited from the reroll failed void shield saves.
Maybe.
So I think it's just some of it's a little bit imbalanced, but I think some of it's also just more experience. I think the other part of it is you definitely get a sense that not everything that's going to be released for the game is released. Obviously, that's true, but you can tell as you play that some of those things are going to bring more balance to the game. Obviously, the other Cerastus Knights are on the banner card, but not released yet. Obviously, you can substitute things in. We didn't really substitute anything in. We, not intentionally, but just as while we were picking our loadouts, played with what you see is what you get. I think in Josh's position, I might have ditched the close combat weapon on the Warlord Titan. I think if you're playing a bigger game, I think it could come in handy, but it just didn't get into close combat. Mm-hmm. And then when I put the Lancer in there, it was outside of your arc. But I think when they get some of the other weapons out, if you're playing what you see is what you get, I think there's some very viable loadouts. A couple of the things that I found out that I was kind of like, oh, I should have known that. The Mega Bolters on the Warhounds, very good at stripping void shields, but if you're shooting at just the armor, they're strength 4. They don't have enough to do anything. As you saw that one shot,
5 or 6 just
hits, but it didn't.
If
you couldn't get through the armor.
Even if you rolled 6s, I mean, it wouldn't have done anything.
Yeah,
because you need 12, I think, or something.
So some of the other things that I noticed, those Shield Bane weapons, anything with Shield Bane, the Turbo Laser Destructors, I believe it is on the Warhounds, very useful, especially when trying to crack through a Warlord's ridiculous void shield saves.
I think there's 3 different levels where it's always just 3+. So you need to knock it down 3 times just to get to a 4+ save. So
it's not a lot of shots, but getting those Shield Bane shots on target, really useful, just to try to whittle it down a little bit. What's your favorite unit? I know you pretty much didn't play with any of the Warhounds, but you got to see me use them. You got to see me use the Lancer. So far, what do you like? What don't you like?
I like the Warhound's mobility. I think if I had some, or at least one, that would have been a whole different game. I could have gotten my squad, gotten back in no time whatsoever, and it would have been completely different. But I just didn't know that before picking my squad beforehand, what missions I was going to get.
Yeah, so if you're going to do the Myrmidon, that doesn't have any options for Warhounds, so you would want something more like the Axiom.
Oh, you got to get 2 of them.
Yeah, so you would have taken a couple of Warlord or Warhounds in there rather. Yeah.
But then again, you can't know that beforehand what you're going to get, what you're going to need. Like, I didn't know I was going to need him. I could have had hold the line, then he would have had to come to me in order for me to gain victory points. I could have just stayed right where I was. Had we had switched sides, switched objectives, it might have been a whole different game.
And I think some of that's going to be addressed if we get I think the next time you come up and we play, we'll have the new book with the new mana pools in there. I think some of those mana pools are going to be really useful. I think it'll add some more balance to the game.
It was really fun, however. Knocking around his knights with my claw. That was pretty fun on the Reaver Titan.
Yeah, I thought, though, the knights were really effective when I first did the charge and got in there. it whooped his butt because in 2 inches or more, you're bypassing the void shield saves. So those knights were just like boom, 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 and then they just kind of stalled out as they got more damage.
So
you hit them with the claw, and it was concussive, and you shook them, and then.
And what I saw that you did is you just completely bypassed my knights, because if you got in close combat with other knights, they still get some sort of a save. But if you go for any Titan, Warhound, Reaver, or Warlord, they use void shields, and you just bypass those shields.
Yeah. I think I was most impressed with the Lancer. It kind of, when I first attacked it, I don't think it was one of the parts that we showed, but when I first attacked it, with it didn't really do a whole lot. I was in close combat, but I didn't get any bonuses or anything like that. So it was just four hits and whatnot. But then when I charged your Titan,
No, it was 2 hits normally.
right? But
then
I had the 2 that were alive.
Then yeah, that's true. And then you used your command. You got your command off, and since I was at the max distance, 12 inches.
On the second time when I charged just the single one in there, I charged the Lancer in, got the extra attacks from the charge.
On my side, so I couldn't even hit back, which I kind of wanted to do. I wanted to kill that last one so I get another 2 victory points. But
you're just so slow on the turn. But it was just perfect situation, charging into the side. Would have been even more devastating with that +2 on the armor roll, charging into the rear of the Warlord. But if that the Lancer, I love the Lancer. I can't wait till the other Cerastus Knights come out. I might run those exclusively. I just have to see how they perform. But I think they're just much more effective than the Questoris Knights. Much cheaper too. We fully kitted everything out, and I think I got more utility out of the Lancers. I'm definitely going to get more of those. I think my least favorite unit is the Reaver, to be honest.
Really?
Yeah, I love the mobility with the Warhounds. I think I might, when I get more when I get more Titans and I get the next book, if there's something with more Warhounds in it, I think I'm going to go with that. The Reaver, it's not bad. Like, I liked the Shield Bane, the arm weapon I had, and the Gatlin cannon was good for destroying void shields. But I think you get all that in the more mobile package in the Warhounds. Not to say it's bad. It didn't disappoint me. But I think I would rather take Warlord and get the more powerful weaponry and then be supported with Warhounds.
Yeah, but then it depends on what mission objective you have.
Right.
Well, I mean, if you had hold the line, the Warhounds could hold the line, and you could have your artillery back here bombarding. And then if you had a mission objective like I had, where you had to get up and get back quick, or at least even get on my side.
Yeah.
I mean, that would be kind of a perfect balance. You get the Warlord just to sit back and pound them, and the Warhounds just to move where you need them.
Right. You know what I just thought of?
No.
Remember at the beginning when we were setting up, picking deployment zones, I kind of hinted at the one that I thought would have been good, and you picked the other one. I think you would have won had you picked the one that I want. For reference, there's one where you deploy your least powerful, or the lowest scale, most forward in deployment zone A, and then next in B, and then in C. You would have definitely been way closer to the objective. I mean, so would I, but
Maybe.
Your Reaver, well, it would have been Knights to Knights.
Yeah.
To lead it off, and then your Reaver would have been
Lancer Knights would have been the next one, and then your everything else.
So you would have led basically with the Knights and a Reaver into Knights and Knights. I think it followed up not too far behind with your Warlords. I think you definitely would have won had you picked that deployment zone. I think again, it's a fickle fellow. It comes down to so many unique little things.
Did we pick objectives first and then?
Yeah,
we did.
You pick objectives before deployment zone.
Yeah, just inexperience.
Again, it's our second game playing. Our first game, we made so many mistakes, and it took a long time just because we were learning it.
We made mistakes in this game too. You'll probably notice some. I might have rolled an extra die here or there. We might have fixed the wrong things.
So it turns out you only can repair critical damage. You can't repair normal damage to your damage track. I think we got that on camera once.
Yeah. I think it was the Reaver Titan, maybe.
Mm-hmm. You know, also I found very useful is picking up a line laser.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
For $8, that was a lot better than trying to measure out with a straight line. Yeah. Now if I just get a tape measure, still don't have a tape measure. Don't know why.
You have a huge toolbox back there and just no tape measure.
Yep.
One thing I wanted to add, he mentioned before he didn't really like the Quester, what are the knights?
Questoris Knights?
Yeah. I actually found that when you get them up close before what are the other ones called?
The Cerastus Knights?
Yes.
The Lancer, I'm probably butchering it, but someone will.
Whatever, the Stabby Knights. Yeah. If you get the Shooty Knights up towards the Stabby Knights before the Stabby Knights stab you, I actually popped one of those pretty easily with my other knights.
I think also it's because I only have 2 of them.
Mm-hmm.
The save gets even better if you have more. You can bring more of those knights.
I think there's like 3 different levels. One for 1 set, 1 for 2, and 1 for 3 or more, something like that. And the more you have,
I think that would be perfect with the Archon, butchering the name probably, and a couple of Lancers. That would be a very Alpha Strike type of banner.
Small nuances.
Yeah.
But if you want to play a quick game, you gotta try Kill Team.
You love Kill Team unless you're playing it, and then you're hating it
because I keep dying.
You keep dying.
It's either I can't kill them in this game, or they'll kill me in Kill Team.
I have the same problem in 8th edition 40k. I hardly ever win with Tau unless I'm playing him. We'll play my knights. You can play my knights, and I'll play Tau, and you can absolutely stomp me with my new knights.
We'll see.
Overall, what do you... Oh, goodbye, Molly. Overall, like Adeptus Titanicus, hate it. I like it. I think I like it more than Kill Team and more than 40k. However, I'm going to like it a lot more when more things are released. I saw rumors somewhere that the Dominus Knights are going to be on it. And I hope one day the new basically artillery piece knight that they released for normal 40k, I can't remember the name of the Titan, is going to be released for that. It makes sense. You basically, I doubt it would probably have like a 1 or a 2 inch movement. But basically you just sit it in the back and you lob just absolute destructive shots everywhere. I can just totally see that. I can see that being a very good piece.
I think I have a very biased opinion right now because I haven't played that many rounds, and both times I lost. I think maybe if I got used to it more, they filled in more of the gaps. Because the loadout, like I said, the loadout I had was horrible for the missions I had. I couldn't move very fast. And the missions I had, you needed to have Titans to get the victory points. I couldn't use my fast-moving Knights to pick up my squad, or I couldn't use my fast-moving Knights to get to his side. I had another objective where if I got one of my Titans to his side of the board and took it off the board in the playing field, I would have gotten victory points. But again, I'd have to use Titans. And I just don't have fast enough Titans in the loadout I had to do that. So I think if they kind of... I mean, this was a valid option in the book. It was 2 warlords and a reaver and some other stuff. But the missions that they gave us don't fit with a formation that they gave us. Yeah. And I just think it's kind of...
With that being said,
in that instance.
I think the next time we play, we're going to play some narrative. I saw this mission in here. What is it called? It is... Of course, I'm not going to be able to find it. That one looks good. Liberation of Brandstadt. Looks pretty interesting. We'll look at that in a little bit, but I had briefly looked at the wreck of the Araton, Betrayal at the Calth. So basically, there's a defender and there's the attacker, and there's a reactor off the board, and the objective is to destroy that reactor. I think you would have had a much better time with this especially if you were attacking. I don't think I would have been able to attack. I don't have the range on a lot of the stuff that I was bringing.
And if you were trying to get close to me, I actually had the Warlord Titan and the Reaver Titan with the close quarters fists that could have.
Yeah. And if you were attacking, you've got long range for days that you were sitting on over there. You could definitely have hit that the reactor that's off the board. I think right now the best way to play is probably some of these narrative games where we'll get some in and we'll report back the next time we play. So I think Kill Team's probably your favorite.
For now, I think mostly because this isn't as fast paced. The movements, you turn just a little bit and you move just a little bit at a time, and there's not much you can really do, and you're basically just slightly moving models and throwing stuff at people. But with Kill Team, there's quick movements. It's a smaller map, and games go by a lot quicker.
I don't know if she's in the frame. Doggo.
Possibly a dog, you can see.
Feel free to squee in the comments section. Yeah, she's gonna hide.
But I've played more matches of Kill Team, so I have more experience and more comfortable with it. I think maybe if I got more comfortable with the units and the guns and the stratagems and the rules of this, I might like it a little bit more. And I need to know how to mix my squads with certain missions and how to move and not fumble around terrain like I did in this match.
Right. Well, I think that we'll call that a day. It was good playing. I always like playing with you, even.
It's the only time you can win. So if he plays me.
He's not wrong. He definitely is not wrong. Well, with that, have a good day. Have a good night, morning, wherever it is, wherever you are. And definitely comment down below if you want to see more if you want to see more Adeptus Titanicus videos. If you want to see anything specific, let us know. We'll try to get it in.
Any painting?
Painting is what we do. We got a lot of painting. As you can see, half the stuff that I have here is in progress. So what I did is I had a beautiful Warlord. I'll link that up here, probably over his face. I think I'm out of room. I think I'm on the edge of the screen. The Warlord Titan that I originally painted up, I actually sold, and I used the funds for that I got for that to purchase the rest of my army, just because I'm so invested in 40k and Kill Team right now. This is kind of like my side piece. Not a lot of the people that I play with are getting into it, so I'm buying everything, and we're going to play that way. So everything is in progress. Stay tuned for a lot more painting. Releasing soon is going to be a painting video on the other Lancer is in progress, and basically pretty much everything else.
You're going to have a link to your, I forget what it's called,
Patreon, yep, that's going to be in the beginning of the video. We're recording this a little bit out of order, but yeah, that's going to be in the beginning. Okay, have a good night, guys.
Look them up.